This is the MCCU Show podcast.
Home to banger Christian conversations.
And definitely good vibes.
It's home away from home.
Welcome guys to another episode of the MCCU Show podcast where we are home away from home.
It's KK,
Bichii,
Becky,
and Ruth.
So today guys, we are discussing about friendships and all about friendships. But before that, real quick, thank you so much guys for all the love and the support that you showed us in our previous episode on the daring art of Christian apologetics. We all had fun filming that particular episode and we had major takes from that particular episode.
Yes, if you didn't hear the podcast, you definitely should check out the link in the bio. It was amazing.
Definitely. And if you are not following us on all our social media platforms, please do at MCCU Christians on Facebook and at MCCUON on Instagram and Twitter. And we actually have a poll on Instagram, and if you haven't responded to it from the previous episode, please do head on to Instagram right now and check out that poll. It's about the episode on the daring art of Christian apologetics and some of the questions that you guys have, and we are going to be responding to them as soon as possible. But that aside, today we are going to be talking about friendships, which is actually a phenomenon that we've all lived. And I'd like to hear some of your definitions of friendship. And I'm going to start with Ruth.
For me, a friend or friendship with someone is a bond that you have with someone who may not be your relative. But I feel like nowadays friendship is based on circumstances you're in, either church or academics, or maybe you're just neighbors. So a bond you form with someone based on the circumstances you're in, because you share some qualities together. Yeah.
Let me interject Ruth's point. I tend to be of a different school of thought when you talk about friendships. Those people like you find yourself in the same place and circumstance, I don't think you should refer to them as friends. They're more of acquaintances. Like, I hope neighbor yangu wasikizi hii kitu, but some of my neighbors are not friends. They're acquaintances. Of course, we see each other on the road and they're like, hi, good morning. And naishia hapo. Patana kwa barabara tunamalizana, we greet each other, subtle highs, but it just ends at that. Even people around you see, if it is just like, I believe friendship, there needs to be a mutual connection. Like I think it's a relationship with mutual love, mutual care. Na hapa sasa jina mutual ndo inaletanga shida kwa friendship, lakini hiyo tutaongelea later. But yeah, I think we should distinguish between friends who are actually friends and who are acquaintances, because that's someone who's just close to you, your neighbor. Will they come and be with you in your deepest time? Will they come and celebrate you in your highs? Are they happy to see you happy? Are you happy to see them happy? Do you celebrate each other? Is there some connection? I believe not just that we are neighbors, we are classmates, because the virtue of us being classmates doesn't make us friends. Of course, it doesn't make us enemies. But tunasalimiananga tu tukipatana class and the occasional small talk. And I'm sure most of us are very good in small talk. But apart from small talk, I literally know nothing about some of them. I don't know what makes them happy, what makes them sad, where even they live. Nothing. I just know this one is called XYZ and he's in my class and we're taking this unit together, or she's in my class, we're taking this unit together. But hakuna relationship. I don't know what Becky you think. Do you think and Ruth you'll come and now Jibu, do you think you can call your acquaintances friends?
I absolutely agree with you, KK. Not everyone is our friend. Lots of people ni watu tu unajua, na acha ibaki hivyo, tuko na pressure ya I don't know, we don't need that pressure. And for me, friendship is people that I vibe with, people that we laugh together, people that we are weird together, sijui kama nachoma, but I remember there was a friend of mine mwenye alikuwa anashuka elevator ya kupanda, and it's in the public.
Becky, wacha kuficha white. We know that it was Ruth. I literally saw the video. Karega, did you see that video? Ruth was literally...
Tuambie sasa kama Becky ni acquaintance kama ni friend. Tuambie the difference.
Ruth is going to leave the meeting right now. But I love the fact that we've actually distinguished between people we know and actual friends, because I feel like we never really make that distinction. We say that we have a lot of friends, but when you sit down and think about the friends that you have no friends. You have people that you know. You don't have any friends. You have people that you actually know. So from that point of argument, I believe we all agree that having friends, we need to be intentional about it. We need to not only know them, but actually get to learn certain aspects of their lives. Not that I only know Karega, and that's it. We only greet each other in the streets and that's it. We have to know each other at a more deeper level. And I feel like that is something that it's not really thought of in terms of our friendship cycles. And especially in this particular generation that we are in the circles that we are in. Are we intentional about building friendships? Are we that intentional about building friendships, Karega?
I think I have very, very different views of friendship. Because I've gone through Kairu Institute of Character Development. I think, especially now when you look at friendships from a Christian point of view, Junajua friendships, you look at it from two perspectives. Kuna the world view of friendship, na kuna the Christian view of friendship. So the Christian view of friendship, of course, it is one that is not expecting anything. It's basically how Corinthians describes love, because all relationships should be made of love. You can't say you're friends with someone and you don't love them. Literally, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So what you want to do for yourself, do also for other people. So as we see in 1 Corinthians 13 from 4 to 8, you can go and read further. Love is patient, love is kind, it is not conceited, it is not jealous, it does not keep a record of wrongs and all that. So I think that should be the basis of Christian friendship. And it becomes very hard to use that basis. And since we're having real conversations over here, sometimes I'm torn between the Christian view of friendship and the world view of friendship. Because the world view of friendship is no simping. He in two-way traffic. Friendship is a two-way traffic. You see, I do good things for you. You should also do good things for me. I'm there for you. You should also be there for me. But Christian friendships, maybe I want to hear from you guys. If someone is not there for you, if they're not patient, if they're not kind, if they keep a record of wrongs and all that, what do? Should you stay in the friendship? Should you always forgive every wrong and move on? Or is there such a thing as cutting off someone as a Christian friend? Because world view, of course, inatuambia to cut off watu kama fanyizi vitu. So as a Christian, what should we do? Because I found myself in that situation. Kuna tutu wamefika kwenye ko. And you're like, okay, I'm really trying to be patient. I'm really trying to be kind and all these things that we have been told in the Word of God. But sometimes it gets to a point you're like, well, Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel. Karega, I totally get where you're coming from. The concept of I don't want to. Okay, let me use this for example. Maybe you have a toxic friend and you want to actually cut them off and do all that. And actually, in the Bible, there are principles of good friendships, and I'd like to touch on the principle of boundaries, the boundaries in friendship, as you've rightly talked about, cutting them off. And in the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 17, it says, let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you. So this basically means like, you need to know when to leave a friend alone. Like, we have different capacities of friendships, you know, and different friendships have different limitations. So when you feel like your particular like space as a person is being violated, I feel like you have a right to actually say that, you know what, I will communicate this particular boundary to you and this particular limitation, and these are the things that make me like ick and I'm not comfortable with. And if you're not willing to listen to me and change or try to accommodate whatever I'm feeling, then we're not supposed to be friends then, because what is that? We can't like agree on the foundations that makes us friends, you see? And I feel and I believe that you can actually like, when you've done and you've communicated that, I feel like the communication part is the most important thing. Because a lot of people just cut you off and you don't even know what you did and what made them like do that particular thing. But the communication part is where I feel like we lack. We don't communicate our feelings to our friends. Like when you have a boundary, and this is something that Ruth will relate to, as she's going to tell us about her experiences. Ruth, you're going to tell us about your experiences, because backstage when you were filming this particular episode, Ruth was so passionate about the boundaries that we set in friendships. And when we set these particular boundaries, we don't communicate them. You know, you've set a boundary in your head. You feel like, okay, when a friend does this to me, as Karega is saying, I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this. But you now keep quiet. And then you turn to the world and you say, okay, I'm going to cut these people off. And then it creates some enmity between you guys, because the other friend is like, okay, this person is not talking to me anymore. He or she is not like contributing to the friendship. Did I do something bad, you know? And it creates just a weird vibe between you guys. But when you communicate it and you actually solve these problems, you'll actually be surprised in two ways. That is, you'll be surprised in number one, if he or she takes it well, you guys will be able to grow and move your friendship forward. But if he or she does not take it well, then I think it's time to just move in different directions. You know, you don't have to be friends with everyone. You can as well be acquaintances. You know, you have to identify the positions that people hold in your life. There was this famous meme that know your position in people's lives, which is very important. You should know your position in people's lives. What do you say about that, Ruth?
I totally agree with you about knowing your position in people's life. But before I touch on that, there is something Karega said about cutting off people, which you also added to, and also something else about if someone is not like scratching your back as you scratch theirs. And maybe just to add on that, I would say that friendship, generally, it's about helping each other and supporting each other. When you support each other in the physical realm, obviously it's spilling off to the emotional realm. Na inacha kuwa toxic relationship. So I feel like even the Bible says iron sharpens iron, and like when two people work together, when one falls, huyo mwingine anampick up. So when you say you're just helping your friend, and then that friend hakusaidi, hakusupport, it's a one-way traffic. I feel that's the place penye unafaa cut off that person. And then when you start talking about cutting off, the logistics of cutting off someone are so the logistics of cutting off people are super complicated. Bichii, when you talk about communication, my goodness, not everyone is ako kwa hiyo level ya communicate. I feel in most instances when you want to cut off someone, when you're communicating to them, it's just it's really complicated and really weird. Like, sir, what are you telling this person? You can tell them it's over between us. We were friends. So unamwambia aje, you're not supporting me, so goodbye. Like, the logistics behind cutting off people, it's like some things that are better off left not said. You'd rather just keep quiet about it and, just go away from the shadows. All of a sudden oh, by the way, we used to be friends, but we are no longer friends. Kumbe ulijiseparate tu pole pole. Instead of making all the drama, I'm cutting you off, because I feel ukianza kuambia umse I'm cutting you off, anaweza turn the tables, as in people are super complicated, and I turn the tables and then it looks like you're in the wrong, and then I'd rather you just go away instead of start talking it out. Unaenda tu sasa, this person is not really cultivating your friendship, blah blah blah, so just go.
Becky, what do you have to say about that?
I am shocked. Actually, you guys are telling people it's over and you're just friends. Yeah. But what I would say is the reason we are having issues on how to probably when to walk away is because when the issues were building up, we did not talk about them. In a friendship, in as much as it's hard, I feel like we ought to be willing to have tough conversations. So, for example, if today I was wearing my very white and clean ngomas and Ruth comes and steps on me, that's something really petty. But labda nitakasirika sana and I will keep it to heart, and tomorrow she will do something else, and on the third day something else, and by the end of the week I am so done with this person. But assuming I had really been intentional about resolving the matter the moment it happened, so you can just tell your friend when it's a small issue, just be like, today you did this and that, and I didn't feel very nice about it. And they can tell you also maybe why they did that, or apologize if necessary, and you guys can move on. The problem is you, as Bichii said, you have the boundaries in your mind. You have if someone wrongs you, you keep the issues in your heart and unaendelea tu kuzipile, alafu siku moja kwenye unataka kuja kuongea, you have kept a record of wrongs, and you come and you're telling this person, you come when you're ready to actually cut them off. If you came when you were willing to talk the issue out, maybe things could have ended up differently. Alafu, sometimes if it's hard to say something, you can always write a sticky note, or a text. Just tell them this and that, and in some way you will resolve the issue. Plus, it's important to just pray to God to know, for wisdom, to know the difference between things that you need to bring up na vitu zenye tu nafaa pia wewe move on.
I love the conversations that we are having, and especially what Ruth has brought up, the logistics of cutting people off. So what exactly is cutting someone off? And as Christians, are we supposed to cut people off from our lives? Personally, I have not cut anybody off, but I have tried to. So what happened is basically what Becky was saying, like you accumulate offenses and wrongs that have been done to you until a point that you just full and you'll explode, So Bichii is my friend, comes and does something I don't like, I keep quiet about it, keep doing it, and wrongs, and I'm just okay, I'm just and I'm not saying it's a wrong thing, because I used to apply this principle a lot, because I was like, Jesus said we should forgive 77 times a day, right?
Yeah.
Finding his quote. Yeah, so Jesus said we should forgive 77 times a day, but in the same process also communicate. Because even the word of God is is it is admonishing us. When we do something wrong, Paul, when he was writing his letters, he was admonishing the people he was writing the letters. He was not just saying, "Oh, I forgive you. You guys are so nice," and everything. Like, he could tell them, when he was talking to the church in Corinth, he could tell them what they are doing wrong, with love, of course. And that's a good relationship. But for me, I was just that person. You come and do something to me, I will not even talk about it. I'll just forgive and forget about it. But now the problem is, you'll accumulate these things. It will reach a point where it will be very hard to forgive. And it's not that someone has done such a big thing. It's because you accumulated them and you never talked about it. And it will hurt you because you have feelings at the end of the day. So talk about it, as Becky said. Talk about it so that it doesn't reach that point where now you're like, hey, I'm going to delete that number. Mimi, nikiona yo mtu napiga kona ingine, akienda hivi napiga kona. And I think that's what cutting off someone is, basically deleting the number, or blocking them, or avoiding them and not talking to them. But I believe we should not reach that point. Like, talk about it, yeah. And even when it reaches that point that you can't be friends anymore, at least if there's anything they did to you, you have forgiven them. If you did any wrong to them, you have asked forgiveness. Of course, you can't force them to forgive you, but at least you have done that and you're okay. And you now it's okay to walk your separate paths in this life. But at least you didn't leave each other with offense. Like, it didn't end up messy. You see, I believe friendships should not end up messy. Even if they were messy, even if they were toxic, it should not end up messy to a point that atamkipatana kwa barabara, you can't even say hi. Even if they see you falling, they can't come and pick you up. Yeah. So let's not wait for it to reach that point.
Exactly. And I love the fact that all our inputs are building up to the question that I asked about intentionality, because all these issues are stepping out from the fact that we are not truly intentional about building these particular friendships. And I feel like that is where the issue of cutting people off stemmed out, because you're cutting people off who you just know. They're not even your friends. You just know them, but you in your head, you think they're your friends, but they're not your friends, because as an individual, you've not been intentional about building a friendship with someone. And this is something that I've learned throughout the years, that just knowing someone does not make him or her your friend, as we've said, as we've shared, experiences. So being intentional about building a friendship, you'll be taking it more seriously. You'll be from a point of, I actually want to have a relationship with this person, and I'm gonna be able to forgive them for the faults that maybe they have done to me or I have done to them, and communicating it very openly, as you rightfully said, Karega, Ruth, and Becky, will be able to make your relationship grow, because I know I will be able to know that Karega does not like it when I step on his shoes, or when I visit his house and just leave my plate on the table and not take it to the kitchen. I'll be able to know that, and me knowing that will help us not come to like a disagreement. Communication is very important, and even though it's very hard, as Ruth has said, you can't literally just sit down and say, you know what, by the way, Mimi, by the Ujani Bamba, this is what you've done. It's very, very hard to come out of that conversation as friends. But when you communicate slowly, by slowly, it's actually going to make it more easier. And with that, as we're talking about friendships, there was this thing I was thinking about, and a lot of my friends have actually told me about it, and we've had a lot of conversations about it. And it's a phenomenon that is actually graced on social media and even in our current society, that a man cannot be friends with a lady. Like, that is just too big to fathom, that the fact that you're hanging out with this lady just means that you guys the man is probably hitting on the lady, or you guys are just gearing on to having a relationship. You're dating. Now, I beg to differ about that. I think a man and a woman can be like friends without any hidden agenda, and I feel like that is objectifying women to a whole different level, because just because I have a friend who is a girl or who is a lady does not mean that I automatically just have feelings for her and I'm chasing her romantically. We can just be friends and coexist. But that is something that it's not even understood. You're seeing, Karega is seeing me with a girl just walking, having fun, going on dates. Then it's like, Bichii, tell us your ways. So tell me what you think about that and that perception that a lot of people have. Like, a lot of my friends have that perception, and I'm like, can we just coexist as friends? I mean, it doesn't have to be more than that. And I feel like that is really objectifying women. What do you think, Karega?
I think I am relating with it because personally, I have female friends, and there's one in particular who everybody thinks I'm dating. So everybody thinks I'm dating them, and I'm not. Honestly, actually, attack on them too, and we're just friends. And I also was of that school of thought, Kitambo. I thought, there's no way you're gonna be friends with that girl. Hakuna hiyo kujidanganya. And so cultivating like a real friendship. So I used to keep girls very far away. And if they're trying to be close, I just make them acquaintances. Like, Mile, you don't wanna seem rude, but you don't want to build any conversations with them. You don't want to build anything. Like, you just want to stay as far as possible, because even, our society, even from primary school to high school, even to uni, at least uni things are easing up a bit. In primary school, you could be seen, working with a girl and talking and everything. Utaandikwa kwa list na watu walikuwa wanachapwa. Ndio lazima naitwa. Na kuna kitu tumefanya. So that was really scary. Like, let me just keep my distance. I don't want to find myself in the list. Najua primary school zenyu pia zilikuwa na hizo malists. Unajua hizo malists? So of course, sijui naona nani hapa ashaijipata kwa hizo list. Wale wa
sisi wote.
Mimi sijaikuwa kwa hiyo list.
Mimi na girl schools, so msinieke kwa group yenu.
Lichapwa bana.
Those lists were real. They were real. Actually, you're seeing hugging, even shaking hands, even just talking. Someone will just write. And alafu kirikuna nishangaza, how are they confirming this information is true? Because me might be malicious and write that Becky and maybe someone like Ken are dating. Na mwalimu alikuwa anaamini hivyo tu. Hakuna investigation, hakuna kitu. Yani, it was just that. So, of course, from that experience, and even in high school, ukienda unaambiwa hakuna kuhanya, ukienda funky, and all that. I think it's made friendships of the opposite sex seem impossible. It's made them seem like we can't enjoy friendship and we are of opposite sex. And I think that's a wrong notion. Like, we can have a wonderful friendship, and as long as we set our boundaries, which I know Ruth is very passionate about, we're going to talk about. As long as the boundaries are clear, that I know, juu lazima kuwe na boundaries. Hapo sasa hatuwezi jidanganya. Even as Christians, hapo hatuwezi jidanganya, lazima kuwe na boundaries. Hakuna venye nitaambia Ruth tunaenda Bible study saa 8 from 10 p.m. Bado 12 imefika tuko Bible study sisi wawili peke yetu. Tuna Bible study. So boundaries have to be there, but you can enjoy the gift of friendship even in such a setting, as long as there are boundaries and both of you respect those boundaries.
Karega, you just reminded me when you nikiwa primary school and high school, and I think even campus, my mom will always warn me, achana vijana, like, and it's almost as if as long as you're seen with a guy, you're doing something wrong, and the next thing we expect is that he will get pregnant, which is so sad. But it's also it's just a predicament of our times. Like, the world has been so sexualized that even a guy can't be nice to you. Imagine, say today Karega is like, Becky, twende KFC. Tomorrow you're like, will you join me for this and that? By the third day, you will start having expectations, because there is a way we have been wrongly conforming to the standards of the world, that we think that if a guy is being nice to you, you have expectations. You almost think there's somewhere they're trying to lead to. And I don't know, maybe Ruth should say something on that.
Vicky, how do you just start a topic and then you toss it to me, surely? But I totally agree with that. And we usually find ourselves in such a situation where when a guy shows interest, you unaanza kuwa na expectations. But I feel that is where communication and boundaries have to come in play very strongly. Like, don't just like we are creatures who, I'm not going to say creatures of habit, but we are creatures who actually learn. We actually observe the non-verbal cues more than the verbal cues. So how you will act around me will suggest whether or not I should start having expectations. So you're acting, you're calling me, we go for KFC, and then you start acting in a peculiar way, and then of course I'll oh my God, Bichii, please unmute.
Ruth, continue. You're really making a lot of sense.
Okay. So I would just say that we should work on our non-verbal cues. We should act appropriately in a godly way.
I think what Ruth is saying is we should be able to be in a position to define our friendships, especially friendships between maybe a man and a woman. You need to be able to define that particular friendships and set these key boundaries that Ruth is talking about, the non-verbal cues. When you take me out, we are going as friends. Like, once we define that relationship that we are friends from the on-go, from the start, like, since you say that sometimes maybe you have not defined that particular friendship, and I take you out and you feel like, okay, so is he like taking me out? Is he interested in me, or are we just friends? It creates like a whole bubble of expectation, which is kind of hard to deal with. But when we define that friendship from the onset, that Becky, you and I are friends, and that is like made clear from the very first time that we meet and from the very first time that we interact, that this is my friend, I feel like that will place you at a very comfortable position. As the lady, you will not have any expectations, and me as the man, I'll be cautious to not spark those expectations. Nitakutreat kama bro, you know. Of course, I'll have some bit of respect because you're a lady and all that. There's some things that I'm not gonna do, but I'll be able to mark that boundary and actually stick to it when we define our friendship. But when we don't, when we leave it at, okay, we might be friends, but also, okay, on the side, we can also be, you know. Becky, what do you say about that?
Unaisema ina sound very easy, but in real life, mambo ni different. Because you know, how do I put this now? Okay, like some kama if it's marriage, there's a day that it starts. There's an official day. You can be like, this is the day we got married, so from here this is how we are supposed to act. Or if it's a contract, you can be like, leo ndo kwenye this partnership has begun and this is how we are going to act going forward. But you know, for friendship, akunanga anniversary ya friendship. Ama you guys have anniversaries for friendship. Actually, this is the day we started being friends.
Yeah. Hey, speak for yourself.
You do.
We do.
Goodness.
very serious anniversaries.
Seriously, Connie, when do you which day do I stop being someone you know and I start being your friend? Because honestly, me don't have anniversary for friendship.
So maybe it can be the day you met. I don't know. But honestly, I would also love to have anniversaries. But sikumbuki yake siku. Like me, maybe Bichii naeza kumbuka the day we met. It was a specific occasion. But I can't remember siku yetu tulipatana na Becky or Ruth. Even my other friends, I just maybe the year and the month. But there are people who actually even know the date and the time. They'll be like, we met on the 13th of July 2015 at KICC. This was what was happening. I saw him coming.
But so, Kairu, the day that you meet someone is the day they become someone you know. When it's that they become your friend. Si tumesema kuna people we know and kuna friends. Ama, gosh.
Friendship like one in a proposal.
Yeah, we've said that, but from a point of anniversaries.
Okay, maybe some people have friendship proposals.
Friendship proposals, Karega.
Will you be my friend? I don't know. I think it just happened.
Ruth, niseme ukweli. Niseme.
Vicky, you've already had our friendship. After this, we have a meeting. So tread carefully.
Honestly, I don't think there's a specific day, and that's what makes it difficult. Because if say Bichii and I meet on a certain day, and we start off as someone I know or someone he knows, and after some time we actually vibe and everything, and we become friends. And si tumesema okay, at least most friendships don't have a will you be my friend ring or something. So I wouldn't know this is the day Bichii became my friend. And the same way nowadays, you also won't know the day you guys started progressing.
What do you mean progressing?
I think progressing. Okay. Progressing to getting now into a real relationship. Becky, you said that I make it actually sound very, very easy, but it's not actually very easy. Let me give you guys a story time. Hey, I've actually been in kind of a situation like this. So there was this time, it was actually ilikuwa in high school, ama ilikuwa primary. Hizi vitu tulianza mapema. Hey, anyways, so there was this relationship that we had with a girl that we never really defined it, because I was not, I don't know, it was like I was not in the headspace. I was not grown enough or something. I was not even 18 at that time. So I was like, okay, we're just friends. In my head, we were just friends. But in her head, she was now building expectations. So we were going out, having fun. We were just talking, just having a very, very good friendship. We could talk all night long, ilikuwa like we were in an actual relationship, so to say. But me, in my head, we are friends. But in her head, she's building expectations. And we never talked about anything less than our friendships. We were just talking about, our friends, our expectations in life, what we want to be when we grow up, just building each other up. I knew a lot. I knew her parents. She knew my parents. Like, we were that close. But then she started making the first move. And then I was like, okay, this is getting out of control. Like the first day that she said that she now progressed to the other direction, I was kind of like I was really taken aback by it, because the fact that you don't know and you don't realize that you're actually building this expectation is really, really bad. So I was feeling bad, because for me, I'm not there. Me, I'm taking you as your friend, and then you are taking me as other things. So we had a conversation, a very tough conversation, and I was like, you know what? I'm sorry for leading you on. Maybe I led you on, but it was not from my own it was not yani iko kupenda kwangu. By the way, me, I was just vibing with you and we were good friends, and I hope that we would have defined our relationship from the start. And that is when I realized that whenever you have that kind of relationship, you need to define it from the very start. The conversation was really hard. We had the conversation, and unfortunately the friendship broke off because she could not handle me still being her friend without moving to that particular other, like the direction of us having a relationship, which I totally understood. We are not like that close friends, but I feel like right now we are just people who know each other. We have been reduced to acquaintances, which I totally understand, because I feel like she feels hurt when we are together but we are not together. You get what I'm saying? So that was a very bad friendship that I had to lose, but that taught me a very important lesson of defining your relationship, because when I define that, we'll be able to be in a very, very good position to actually know that. And from what Becky is saying about friendship proposals, that is actually happened in friendship. I remember when I met all of you, Karega, we met on the 23rd of January 2020. Becky, we met on the 21st of September 2021. Ruth, we met this year during AGM. And then all of you don't even remember when we met. Guys, I have acquaintances here. People we just know.
AGM. Sikukwa AGM. Where did you meet me on AGM?
Not AGM. Ilikuwa. Inaitwa nini? There was this event. There was a big event in MCCU this year.
Fine. Sawa, nimekuacha.
Umeniacha.
And Bichii, you didn't ask us to be your friends.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Miss Kuuliza. At least Miss Kuuliza.
Wow. This thing just started off.
Yeah, it just started off, and I feel like that your friendship anniversary that Becky is like referring to, it is like when you've already started a friendship, you've started off a friendship, and then you're like, oh my god, when did we meet? We can actually do a friend anniversary or something. So I feel like it's when you guys met, because that is where your friendship started. Even though you don't want to admit it, like you guys were friends, because when you meet someone for the very first time, you can't just say that they are my friends. But there was something that attracted to you to actually, or there was a personality that you were like, okay, I really love this person, I appreciate this person. So when I meet Becky for the first time, and then I'm like, oh, I love how she laughs. Oh, I love how she talks or something. I want to be her friend. Oh, I love how she thinks about something, her ideas, her ideology about life. There was something that attracted to you to that particular friend. And even though you didn't realize it, that was the very first day that friendship sparked. Even though you didn't make it official or anything, it took some time, maybe a month or two, for you guys to be very comfortable with each other. You found something, or she found something in you that was very attractive to her or him. So yeah, so our friendship is not deep. Becky, tell me. Share your thoughts.
So, Bichii.
Yes?
We're together.
Yeah.
So, mkisema ati we need to define our friendship. So, for example, my friendship and yours, sorry to say, it is not defined. There is no day we have sat down and been like, okay, Bichii, me and you be a friend. Sindio? Ama nyi mnataka kudefine aje those friendships?
Thank you for listening to the MCCU Show podcast. Make sure to tune in for part 2 of this episode next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. East African time. See you then.